Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a community update for December 18th, 2019. We've got a few things to cover, including possible nerfs to the new Void Legendary Tormin the Cold, and going over offers and a few other things kind of going on in the game right now. So yeah, let's get into it. Alrighty, so first of all, the big thing to go over is the announcement that Raid Shadow Legends has made that they are thinking about changing the new Legendary Fusion event, or the Legendary that is part of that event, reworking and kind of nerfing him. He seems to be just a little bit too overpowered in terms of in the arena, how often his freeze is proccing. So I will go ahead and give you guys the full post on that. Hi guys, thank you very much for sharing your thoughts on Tormin with us. We have forwarded your feedback to our game designers. They are going to review it thoroughly and make their decision based on that. The champion will definitely remain strong and a meta changer. What we are going to do is review his passive skill most likely and fix minor bugs in his performance. We want you to understand, and I can't stress this enough, that we will make sure that he does not lose his incredible strength and uniqueness. You will enjoy using him, and he won't become a vault guard. I think that's kind of funny. On a side note, Plarium's using like terms that the player base uses, like troll terms about heroes being vault guardians. So I think that's funny. They called him a vault guardian. We guarantee that. Now, we do apologize for the whole roller coaster with these changes, but we need to go for it and make sure that the future of the game balance does not suffer because of this aspect. We do understand that you guys have been working very hard on getting him. And even though the changes that we are going to introduce will be minor, we are going to give compensation for your effort. The players who have crafted him upon the fusion end will receive 2 legendary books. So that's pretty cool. If you're curious, Tormin takes 11 books to max out all of his skills fully. So basically, you're going to be able to max out his skills for 9 books instead of 11. Or just keep those extra 2 books if you aren't going to max him out. But I guess if you're going to fuse him, you're probably going to want to invest in him. So basically, you can do it for 9 books instead of 11, which is pretty reasonable because I think the average legendary costs about 9 to 12 legendary books. So it kind of brings him towards the bottom end of book investment. And that's a nice gesture to give out 2 books. We also know that you have been waiting for other legendary champions to be rebalanced for a very long time. That is true. We are glad to let you know that this rebalance will come out with 1.13 and will include Sathalia, Shamrock, Yannica, and others. Okay, so definitely important. They rebalanced Sathalia last time, which was a massive fail. They took Sathalia from being horrible garbage to just garbage. The changes were not significant enough. They were a little bit too much RNG. She was kind of like a HP version of Shamrock, like abilities that are proccing weird with weird chances and lots of luck involved and not a whole lot of guaranteed utility. So hopefully they get it right with Sathalia this next time because she's been one that's kind of been on the balancing block for a long time. Shamrock, I'm actually surprised that they're talking publicly about changing Shamrock because Shamrock was a fusion. And I don't know if we've seen them change a champion that was ever part of a fusion. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but your champions like Rosin and Foley and all these types of champions that were part of fusions, they haven't really touched before. Sir Nicholas. So surprising that they're going to dive down that rabbit hole and go after Shamrock, but he definitely needs a little bit of love there. So yeah, we will also release Faction Wars Rebalance in the nearest future before the 1.13 patch, together with some improvements for many champions, which will help you pass crypt stages faster and easier. Guys, last but not least, we hear you, we see you, we hope that we have not lost you, and we'll do our best to prove that you are what we are here for, and we do realize that. Okay, so the words are good. Plarium is kind of stepping up to the plate, keeping the community up to date. I like that a lot. The post in itself is good. We hope that they are going to put their money where their mouth is and actually, act on these things soon. Like, if 1.13 comes out 3 months from now, like, if they don't balance Shamrock or Yannica until April, that's just going to be too crazy. But hopefully they're going to do this stuff soon and start cranking out and listening to the player base. They did say that they want a lot of feedback on Discord in terms of how you feel about Tormin changes and kind of what they would change. Now, it seems like, to me, what they're probably going to do is only change the passive. Like, the kit will probably remain the same. The passive, and more specifically, the passive effect is probably what they're going to be looking at changing, which is the 15% chance of placing a freeze debuff on the enemy each time they receive a buff, get healed, or have their turn meter filled. And then it's going to be each individual circumstance is going to proc that 15%. So what I think they will do is either nerf that to 5 or 10% and leave it where each individual proc has its own proc. Sorry, I'm wording this super weird, but they'll probably either nerf it to 5 or 10% and keep each individual case mattering, or they will leave it at 15% and max it out at occurring one time. So if you buff the turn meter, heal them, and give them a buff, instead of having 3 chances at 15%, you will have 1 chance at 15%. I would say that's probably the most likely route that they will go in terms of balancing the passive. That's probably the change that I would suggest they start at. He does seem a little bit too strong in the arena, and you know, you feel like if you fight him, you just get frozen, locked out, and the match is over. So hopefully they maybe bake in a little bit more guaranteed value instead of it being like 100% RNG. Maybe give his passive some guaranteed value and then a little bit of RNG that isn't kind of, you know, as crazy and with all the chances of the chances to activate and all that. So that's probably what they're going to change. Now, in general, I do think it's good that they're acting quickly in getting things right, and I do think it's good that they realize it's going to be very frustrating for people that rush to fuse him. They're enjoying the strong champion, and now all of a sudden he's getting nerfed, and you're like, really? I've had him for 1 day, and you're going to nerf him? So it's good that they're giving out legendary books. I would also like to see them throw in a couple shards and some energy or something, just as a good gesture, but it's a step in the right direction. Plarium is speaking to the player base quickly and acting quickly and listening to feedback. As long as they actually listen, I think Plarium's doing, you know, about as good as they could do, you know, under this circumstance. So yeah, let's go ahead and go over some of the other stuff here. I'm going to be fusing the champion. Maybe I should just do it live during the video. Why not, huh? That might be fun. Okay, so yeah, I've got everything ready to go. If you're curious, I did cover it in my Tormin video, but I've had a few people asking in Discord and comment sections and stuff. I do believe it is still worth it to fuse him, even with them announcing they're going to rework him, rebalance him. To get a Void Legendary, I would almost recommend you never pass on that opportunity. Now, if this were like crazy champions to sacrifice, like Miscreated Monster and Skull Crown and things like that, we'd have to dive into it and think a little bit deeper, but none of these 4 champions are like game changers. Rawan's pretty good, and some of these can get some situational utility, but I do think it's definitely worth getting a strong Void Legendary Dwarf, especially for the Dwarf Faction Wars. When that comes out, you're gonna want this guy, and you're gonna want him just in terms of playing around with him and testing different synergies and stuff. So I do still recommend doing the fusion for sure. So let's go ahead and let's crank it out live here. I want to make sure I got the 50 instead of the 60. I have 2 Rawans. So here we go. 1 million down the drain. And boom. There we have it. So, all right, I'll be working on that and trying to get a guide out as soon as possible and try to build him to his maximum strength so we can kind of see exactly what he is capable of. And I'll try to get that out within the next day or 2 if I can to keep you guys up to date on exactly what Tormin is capable of. So, yeah, there is that. And then in terms of the tournaments, we're actually getting 2 of, you know, arguably the most important tournaments. Spider and Dragon are, in my opinion, the 2 most important dungeons to like grind the most. Dragon, because it provides the lifesteal, accuracy, and speed sets, which are all very endgame clan-based viable type sets. Usually speed and lifesteal, but the accuracy set can also be very good in terms of getting the accuracy up to land those debuffs and stuff. And then Spider, obviously, it's our only source of acquiring jewelry, and banners are insanely important in terms of rounding out your champions. It's the only place you can get speed on jewelry, and it's very important to get good banners and jewelry in general. So yeah, these are 2 very important dungeons. So tournaments that you're going to want to keep an eye on and probably participate if you have the resources to do so. I said that I was going to be treating this as an event that I went for the legendary book and then stopped. I didn't want to get in a whale war because they're not giving out full sets anymore. They're giving away 4, which I don't agree with. If these ever become full sets, I'll rethink, you know, going for broke and trying to win. But as long as I can get up, you know, to get all the rewards on the right, as long as it's a legendary book, I'm probably going to go for it, especially if it's a tournament with importance like the Spider or Dragon. All right. Now, let's also go over some of the tournaments, or not tournaments, some of the offers coming through. So, the most famous one is the New Year's pack. And this pack, I haven't calculated it. We're going to do it live here. I think this is going to be pretty darn good. So, let's go ahead and make sure this is slotted over right here. And let's see exactly how good this is. All right. And then we've got 5 Ancients, 1 Sacred, 5 5-star Chicken, 800 Gems, 45 brews, that looks like. And 800 energy. Did I get everything? Looks like the energy gems, chicken. I think I got it all. So yeah, this grades out as a 2.84. Anything over 2 is very good. Anything over 2.5 is insane. So this is basically a New Year's gift from Plarium. You know, a really good, if you're ever going to spend money on Raid, this is probably one of the best packs you're ever going to find in terms of it's got guaranteed value in chicken, gems, and energy. And it's also got some rolling, you know, RNG upside in terms of 5 ancient shards and a sacred shard. So a pretty insane pack. It's one of the best you're ever going to get in terms of both gambling and guaranteed value. So I do love that pack. Greater XP pack. These ones are typically, you know, pretty underwhelming, but let's check it out here just to be sure. See if they're kind of, you know, turning the corner on these or not. So we've got 2 days of XP, 500 energy, 800k silver, 800 gems, looks like 40 XP brews. Okay, is that everything? 40 gems, silver, energy, and 2 days of XP at 24. Yeah, so this one I don't recommend getting. It's not nearly as good as the other one, and it's grades out in the yellow. It's not even green, so definitely a skip on that one. The bonus offer pack, okay, they usually charge a little bit too much for books, in my opinion. Okay, it's also 24. Let's go epic at 5 and 2, 25 brews, 750. Well, let's start silver, 950k, and energy 750. Okay, so again, I think it's exactly the same or pretty close. A 1.34 is in the yellow. Don't recommend it unless you're just like desperate for these books or something. But yeah, not a very good pack. Conqueror, as always, I'm waiting to see these go back down to $5. And 6-star artifact is going to be the Divine Life set. It's a very good set, especially for dungeons. Is it worth a $40 gamble for one set of it? That's epic. No. If this were 6-star legendary, I would honestly still be you know, pressed towards not recommending it. So $40 for a full set of epic and a little bit of energy and silver. If this were like 450 gems instead of silver, I might change my tune a little bit, but how it is structured right here is going to be a pass for me. So, all right, also events. We've had a lot going on. Looks like we don't have anything changing really anytime soon except for the arena. I already maxed this one out. I think it was the most doable one out of all of them. So nothing really changing right there in terms of the events or super important to go over. So yeah, that's going to kind of do it for this update. And definitely, as always, let me know what you think down in the comments. I enjoy hearing your input and seeing what you all have to say. So yeah, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.